Hello everyone, welcome to this very special episode that's dear to my heart. I'm your host, Bree Kennedy, and today we are on location at Shady Canyon Golf Club for a very special charity event, CureDuchenne. Duchenne is a muscular dystrophy disease that affects young boys. Usually under the age of 5 is when they are diagnosed, and the prognosis is not good. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to get the ceremony started soon, and I'll come back to you with some remarks when we're finished. Now, as most of you can see, there is a special guest up here with me who happens to be one of our incredible Duchenne warriors. He has a heartfelt message to share with you and would like to express it in the only way he knows how, and that is through song. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you Dillian. Before we share more about the impactful work of CureDuchenne, we thought the perfect place to start would be fashion. Enjoy the show. Today is more than just about fashion. It's about CureDuchenne and how we can make a lasting impact in the lives of boys and young men affected by Duchenne muscular dystrophy. We are deeply honored to have some very special speakers with us today, including Dr. Michael Kelly, Chief Scientific Officer of CureDuchenne, who will share groundbreaking updates in the fight against Duchenne muscular dystrophy later in the program. Now it's my honor to introduce Monica Utley, Senior Director of Programs at CureDuchenne. As Senior Director of Programs, she has been instrumental in advancing groundbreaking research and care for thousands of boys and young men battling this devastating disease. Please join me in welcoming Monica Utley.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here today. Before today, you may never have heard the words Duchenne muscular dystrophy, and that's exactly why we're here. Duchenne is one of the most devastating childhood diseases you've never heard of. It's progressive, 100% fatal, and it steals futures before many children even reach adulthood. But thanks to CureDuchenne and donors like you, that story is beginning to change. When our founders, Deborah and Paul Miller, learned that their son Håkon had Duchenne at just 5 years old, they were told it will affect his muscles, his heart, his lungs. There is no treatment, there is no cure. He may not even live past his 18th birthday. While other families were planning soccer practice and college, they were told to prepare for something no parent ever should. But they refused to accept that, and they founded CureDuchenne to change the story for their son and thousands of others. Since then, CureDuchenne has raised nearly $60 million, funded 19 clinical trials, and invested $27 million into biotech companies developing cutting-edge treatments from exon skipping to gene therapy. These investments have helped lead to 6 of the 8 FDA-approved therapies for Duchenne, including the first gene therapy that was approved just last year. But our work is far from done. These are not cures, and they're not accessible to everyone. And even the best therapies mean little without the right care team: neurologists, cardiologists, pulmonologists, physical and occupational therapists, all working together. Too often, families must travel across the country just to find that kind of care. It's costly, it's exhausting, and in an emergency, it can be very dangerous. But here in Orange County, we're incredibly fortunate. We have one of the nation's premier pediatric healthcare systems and leaders in Duchenne care, like Dr. John Crawford and Dr. Julian Thomas at CHOC, now part of Rady Children's Health. And today, I'm proud to share that CureDuchenne is launching a landmark partnership with Rady Children's to bring comprehensive Duchenne care right here to our community. With our commitment to raise $1.5 million, we're helping build what every family affected by Duchenne deserves: a new gold standard of care. The CureDuchenne Clinic will bring coordinated, multidisciplinary care, earlier, more accurate diagnosis, access to clinical trials and research, equity-focused services for underserved families, and a national model for adult transitional care in partnership with UCI, as our guys are living longer than they used to. This isn't just a hospital program. CureDuchenne is the driving force behind it, bringing 2 decades of expertise, a powerful network of researchers, and a deep connection to the Duchenne community. Later in the program, you'll hear more about the science and from a family whose life has been changed by this disease. I hope their story stays with you. Because this is more than a clinic. It's a commitment to earlier answers, stronger support, and better outcomes close to home. And your generosity today isn't just funding care. It's also fueling the next generation of research so we can move even faster towards a cure. Together, we're not just building a clinic, we're building a future, and every dollar brings us closer to a cure. Thank you so much for your support.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is my absolute pleasure and honor to introduce someone who is absolutely essential to CureDuchenne's mission. Dr. Michael Kelly is the Chief Scientific Officer at CureDuchenne, where he leads research strategy and drug development investments, helping to identify and advance the most promising treatments for Duchenne muscular dystrophy. We heard Monica touch on a few of those earlier in the presentation. Since joining CureDuchenne nearly 15 years ago, Dr. Kelly has been the scientific engine behind the organization's highly successful venture philanthropy model, helping turn donor support into clinical impact. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Michael Kelly to the podium.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. What an introduction. You never know what to say after that. And the second thing I should say is this is my second year here. This is as dressed up as a scientist would get. This is it. I'm dialed to the max right now. Although I think I did want that bow tie that was going around, right? There's a bunch of thanks that I want to start off with, and I think this is not that easy to put together at times. And Bree, I really appreciate, thank you for being MC today, and I'll try and keep to the time limit that you give me, but thank you for what you do. Also, an enormous thanks to the organizing committee. They've done a lot in order to bring this and make it happen. Tom, thank you. And also, obviously, the sponsors that are here today. But it would behoove me really to give a big shout out to the CureDuchenne team. Unbeknownst to you, I've seen them work diligently for the last couple of months piecing this here together. And for each of the members in here, I won't call them out by name and embarrass them, but for every one of them, it's very clear, both here today and what I've seen them do in the office in prep for this. I owe them a big thank you for what they do in putting this together. And thank you all for being here. It's really important for us as an organization. I recognize a handful of faces from last year and another handful of new faces that are here. And to see that their continuity winged through this here is an important part of what we do. So thank you all. There's a few things that I want to touch on the few minutes that they gave me. And I want to echo a point that was talked about earlier on, and that there's the introduction of the CureDuchenne clinic at Chalk. You know, this is really, really important for the community here, and not just for the local community, but for the much broader one. Because I've seen the impact of this. This is the second time we've done it. The first CureDuchenne clinic was in Texas. We opened that a couple of years ago. And the impact that that had for the local community, but the much broader community, became apparent very, very quickly. And that's what I'm expecting to see here. It became a center of excellence, attracting in patients from a broad range of areas, became a center of excellence for clinical trials, running gene therapy, and improved the standard of care immensely. So I'm looking forward to what's going to go on in the relationship between CureDuchenne and Chalk in order to make that there happen here, because the community really needs that, and improving both the knowledge and know-how and the standard of care of treatment of patients really is what a lot of this is all about. There's a couple of other things that I want to discuss, and really to bring you up to speed of what we're doing and how I personally will read the next handful of months in research here, and to give you a sense of where the next couple of years is going to be. And that's why we're here in this room today, to get a feel for that. There's a number of drug approvals that are going to come up that's been enabled through our venture philanthropy model over the last number of years. We invest quite early in a number of companies, both at the private stage and public stage, but we bring deep knowledge and know-how into bear on how they run non-clinical work, or how they design clinical trials, etc. So there's that synergy that comes from the relationship with both the money that we bring and the knowledge and know-how that we have. One that I would guide you into is a somewhat local company. I'll start with Capricorn. They're based in San Diego, and they're wrapping up right now their late-stage phase 3 trial for approval. Their product is a cardiac stem cell for dilated cardiomyopathy. I won't get into any of the science, although I will say that I'll be around if anybody wants to talk about what this actually means and where it's going to go. That drug is going to be filed for approval before the end of this year, and it should be approved in the middle of next year for marketing. And it's going to be the first and only drug that's approved for older Duchenne individuals to treat the dilated cardiomyopathy that's apparent in every one of them. So that will be a first. The second is a company called Avidity. We financed them early on and worked with them all the way through. They're a fairly established public company today, and their lead product is going to file for approval before the end of this year again. And it will be approved, and I'm pretty sure, I say I will be, not maybe, it will be approved somewhere in mid next year, around about July, August time is the time frame. And that their drug is one that's called exon skipping. It has next generation exon skipping properties that really have enhanced the effect of that in patients. It's quite remarkable what we see. But there's two things I want to point out as I work through that. One is Capricorn is restricted to older patients, those older than 12 years of age, and we need to get treatments into a younger age range. And the Avidity drug, as fantastic as what it appears to be in clinical trials, is dependent upon an individual's mutation. So right now, it will only cover up to about 6% of the Duchenne patients that are out there. And you can see that that gives us an enormous incentive, because we want to cover all patients. The other one that I'll touch upon is gene therapy. And the first gene therapy product was approved a year and a bit back. And there's another couple that are in the pipeline that are going to go through to approval. One, I believe, will be filed in the middle of next year and approved for marketing in 2027. And you'll hear a little bit about that, because we've got a local story about how that's impacting families. Gene therapy was a remarkable milestone, because it gives us the ability to put at least part of the gene back in. The gene that we're trying to replace in muscle is too large to replace using current gene therapy, but it's got real benefits that the boys will get, but it also comes with limitations. And those limitations are that you can't redose it, and there's certain boys will be excluded from it, and it's not the full-size gene. So the goal that we have, as I sort of tell why we're here today, is that we've got a mission to cure this disease, not to make it slightly better or to give, an improvement to what's called a Becker phenotype. We want to cure this disease. And the focus on what we're doing is trying to find technology or develop technology that doesn't exist today. That's always been our challenge. It's a heavy lift, and we're not put off by the fact that it's a heavy lift to do that. The technology that we need and that we're developing is beyond current gene therapy and exon skipping, but it's where you can take a large gene like dystrophin and actually insert it back into all the different muscle groups and then redose, because we can't redose with current gene therapy. And we've got a real focus on that. We've got a handle on what we want to do, and we've got a clear roadmap on exactly that's going to go. Now, just before I wrap it up, I'll say, to get to where we were with the products that are being approved with Capricor or Avidity, just as an example, that was 5, 6 to 10 years in the making. And our goal of getting us to where we want to be over the next 2, 3, 4 years is really non-viral gene delivery that I've mentioned about. And that's why we're here. We've got a couple of things that we need. One is we need a bit of time, because science just doesn't fall out. We're working on that, and we've been focused on that goal. And I think the next 2 or 3 years is going to be pivotal to get that there to mature. And the second, obviously, is always money, where we use our venture philanthropy model in order to invest in those companies and the early research that we do. So that's why we're here. And I would wrap it up by saying, I truly appreciate the fact that we're all in this room today. And you know the reasons why. You know the reasons why I flew in today in order to talk to you about this, because it's critical for all of the families. It's important to me. It's important for the committee that put this together. And I really thank you for being here and being part of what we're doing and trying to change the course of this disease. Thank you all.
Also today, we are incredibly fortunate to have a very special guest with us. Somebody who truly embodies the strength, the resilience, and the hope that drives this mission forward. Håkan Miller. He is not only a talented writer and a passionate advocate for Duchenne muscular dystrophy and the awareness, he is also a member of the CureDuchenne family. Diagnosed with Duchenne at just 5 years old, Håkan has turned his journey into a platform for education, empowerment, and change. His voice, his advocacy, and his example have inspired countless families around the world. Today, he works at PerMobile, where he continues to champion independence and innovation for people with disabilities.
Unfortunately, I don't know if I can compare with those outfits, but here I am. Thank you so much. What you're really doing here today is you're bringing hope to countless thousands of families that are affected by Duchenne. So thank you so much for being here. I wanted to start off by kind of giving you an update on where I am. Obviously, I work at PerMobile, and in fact, this is the chair that we manufacture. So it's been amazing to work with other people with different disabilities and trying to get them out in the world and have independence, just like I do. And because of all of the support that we've had over the years, I am able to be independent and do things like drive, to be with friends, to travel, to do all these things, and it wouldn't have been possible with the support in the past and the current support that I have. In fact, I'm in a clinical trial right now, and it's been doing really good for me, and I feel like I have so much hope for the future. And now more than ever, I feel like I have a chance to actually live life, to have a family, to get married, to have kids, and to have a job like I do. And so I feel like there's so much more hope and momentum going for me and so many other boys with Duchenne. And it's just incredible to see how far we've come since I was diagnosed in 2002 to where we are now. And research has developed so much, as Mike talked about, and really is so much hope for the future. And other boys are being impacted and affected by this as well, and having hope for their future. And you're giving us all a chance to live that life, to live those dreams, to pursue those dreams that everyone deserves to have. And we're going to hear in a moment from a mom and the story of her son, who I know so well and who was able to get this gene therapy, and just getting through that and the hope that gives us for him and for many other boys. And like Mike said, there's still a lot of work to do. We have a lot of hope, but in order to get to that finish line, we need more and more effort to get over that finish line so more boys can have the chance at life that I do, not just here, but all over the world. And so it's starting here at Shady Canyon Country Club, and you all are a part of it. So thank you for your support, and thank you so much for being here.
Now it's my honor to introduce somebody whose story reminds us all of why we are here. Lucy Nilsson is the proud mom of 2 amazing boys. Since her younger son's diagnosis of Duchenne muscular dystrophy, Lucy has become a fierce advocate and a source of strength for other families, and an important voice in the CureDuchenne community. She's here today to share her family's journey, the realities, the resilience, and the reason why this matters so deeply.
Thank you, Bree. Thank you to the committee and to CureDuchenne for giving me this opportunity today. As well as I have to do a shout out for my sister and my Experian family that is always here and supporting me. So I'm honored to be here today and share our family story. I'm Lucy Nilsson. I live here in South Orange County with my husband Barry and our 2 boys. Our oldest son Jake is 19 and our younger son Henry is 16. Henry is living with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Our story sounds like so many others in this beautiful community until it wasn't. On August 8th, 2011 was the first day I heard the word Duchenne. Our lives changed forever on that date. We were blindsided. We were told our beautiful, perfect 2-year-old boy Henry had a devastating, fatal diagnosis. That he would stop walking by age 10, no longer be able to hug us by age 12, and likely not live to see his high school graduation. There was no hope. There was nothing we could do. There was no cure. There were no treatments. We were told to just accept it, go home, and love him while we still had the chance. We had no warning. Henry had a few minor delays. He walked a little later than others. He talked a little later than others. Every medical professional, friends and family, all told us it's nothing to worry about. Kids will all do things in their own time. Until a very simple blood test told us a different story. We have no family history of Duchenne. I am not a carrier of the Duchenne genetic disease. It was a random, spontaneous mutation. It could happen to anyone at any time. Duchenne doesn't care about your race, doesn't care about your religion, doesn't care about your income or your zip code. It can happen to anyone at any time. We spent months in a fog, mourning the life we thought we'd have. The dreams we had for our son Henry and our whole family felt shattered. We didn't know anything about Duchenne. We felt isolated and robbed of what we most needed, which was hope. Until we found CureDuchenne. We met Deborah and Paul Miller and their son Hawken, and here were parents who refused to accept that nothing can be done. They started CureDuchenne to do something, and that something has changed the landscape. It has provided not just our family, but thousands of others with hope and faith. CureDuchenne isn't an organization, it's a movement. A team of scientists, physicians, physical therapists, and advocates working relentlessly to fund research, push for approvals, and bring real treatments to families like ours. And they're making a real impact. Last year, the first ever gene therapy was approved by the FDA to treat Duchenne from a company that CureDuchenne funded way back in 2010. I am happy to say that earlier this year, Henry received that one-time infusion of the newly improved gene therapy, Elevidys. The moment was monumental for our family. 14 years in the making from the day of his diagnosis. This was the first treatment he ever qualified for. The moment gave our family hope, not just for Henry, but every child living with Duchenne. This was not a cure, it is merely a treatment. Our hope is that it buys us a few more years until a cure can come about. And that hope for better treatments and care is growing right here in Orange County with the launch of the CureDuchenne Clinic at Chalk, which is now part of Rady's Health Network. That clinic will be a game changer. It will provide comprehensive expert care for children with Duchenne close to home. It will bring together cutting-edge research, compassionate care, and a support system for families who need it most, families like mine. Today, Henry is 16 years old. In the past 5 years, he's broken 13 bones due to low muscle tone and bone brittleness due to the steroid use. He's had rods surgically placed in both femurs. He takes 15 medications a day. His nighttime regimen of stretches, breathing treatments, suction, cough assist, and BiPAP take over an hour each night before bed. Henry spent 16 days in 3 different hospitals just this past August due to a psychosis brought on by the chronic steroid use. And while we're grateful to have gotten gene therapy, we know it's not the cure. We need science to move faster and bring better treatments before he continues to lose his mobility. Despite the challenges he faces, Henry continues to live a life with remarkable spirit and determination. He's currently a junior in high school at Mission Viejo High School, a life-ranked Boy Scout on his way to Eagle. He made his confirmation last spring, and he's thriving. We're lucky that he can still walk, as most kids his age cannot. He's still the same goofy, mischievous, fearless, joyful kid, and he continues to defy the odds and bounce back. He inspires us every single day. His plan post-high school, to become a Disney Imagineer, get married, and have children of his own. Our family has a new normal. We live with Duchenne, but we don't let it define us. We prepare for the future, but we don't live in fear of it. Duchenne will not rob Henry of his childhood or his future. We are blessed to be his parents, and while I would give anything to change that news we received back in 2011, I am profoundly grateful for the people God has placed in our lives to walk with us on this journey, including our CureDuchenne family, and all of you here. And now, I ask you, this incredible, generous community, to join us. You can help ensure better outcomes for Henry and all of the boys like him. You can bring hope to families that are just beginning this journey and those who are many years into it like us. Together, we can and we will change the story for Duchenne. Thank you.
Thank you for joining me on this very special episode. I hope that it brought more awareness to you. A lot of people don't know what Duchenne's is, so now I hope you do, and I hope that you'll find a way to get involved.